What's up, my beautiful people? Welcome back to See It Through My Eyes. Here, flying solo once again for another episode of Storytime with Richie. This is episode 2. I'm Richie, and today's episode will be touching on abusive relationships, toxic relationships that I've gone throughout my almost 31 years of life. I won't be discussing any personal details of any of my relationships. I won't be focusing too much on specific events or any of my relationships, just for privacy reasons, and doesn't really matter. This is my first time doing this alone. We originally did a episode in 2022 when we first started the channel, our Valentine's episode, where I spoke for the first time on air about my history with abusive and toxic relationships. However, I wasn't too pleased when listening back to it. I just felt either I was disorganized or sometimes just came off as preachy. So today I kind of want to do something a little bit different. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. And to anybody who has gone through or is in those situations or is recovering from any type of toxic or abusive relationships, today I will be focusing mostly on romantic relationships. So anybody in that, hopefully this helps you guys in your recovery, in your journey, both for people who have been abusive and people who have been abused. I have been on both sides. So this is something intense. But I feel it's a conversation that we as a society need to start having more, instead of just picking and choosing just, who's the victim, who's the victimizer, who's the good person, who's the bad person. Because I don't agree with the labels of victim, nor I agree with the labels of victimizer or abuser, because we never know what the other person is going through. And I do believe that the label of a victim takes away a person's strength and individuality. So I prefer survivor, or just somebody who has been through that. I don't consider myself a survivor, at least during my dating time. However, I did come up in a very toxic household. I won't be getting into too much detail about that, but it has had a huge effect on my romantic life. And now as an adult, I'm able to reflect, I'm able to learn, I'm able to go back, and I'm like, this is the root cause of this and I need to work on it, instead of just blaming or excusing, my behaviors or dwelling on it. So with all that rambling out of the way, this is what I will be structuring this episode as. So hopefully you guys enjoy it and stick around. So let's get into it. So, final disclaimer, this video will contain mentions of abuse, both psychological, emotional, verbal, and physical abuse. So if this is too triggering for some viewers or some listeners, check out another one of our videos. That's not what this video is for. With that being said, let's go right into it. So most of my relationships, especially in my teens and early 20s, the way that most of my relationships would kind of go at the beginning would be, kind of that honeymoon stage, the love bombing, the, constant texting each other. But on my end, it would also include, kind of sneaking in there, the controlling, the jealousy, the, like, who are you with? Who are, like sneaking in there. And sneaking in there also, the reason I'm doing this because I care about you. The reason I'm doing this is because I don't want to lose you to somebody else. I'm doing this because I have trust issues. And, it was always adding those disclaimers almost into the reason why, I was feeling that type of way, or I was acting that type of way towards my exes. And I would excuse and cover up the reasons why I was acting like that. And I would always, at the beginning, give them a lot of attention, a lot of my time. I would give them a lot of affection. You are the one, and, there's no other girl like you, just all that shit. And little by little, I would see them, putting their guards down. I would see them becoming obsessed with me. And in my mind, at least, at the age that I was, and that mindset that I had, that was something good. I wasn't really asking myself, is this something healthy? It was, this is what I want. Um, because in my mind, in that time, it was, if someone is fighting over me, if someone is giving me all their attention, if someone is only putting me as their center of attention and not talking to other guys, giving me everything, sex and everything, then that means that they truly love me. And it was like all those requirements, those very extreme requirements, was the only thing that temporarily made me trust them, temporarily made me, want them closer to me. And that's how all my relationships in my earlier, my younger years, that's how all my relationships would start. They will lead little by little to the arguments, to the shouting, to the throwing insults at each other, to even going as far as, send me screenshots of where you are. Let me, let me hear, call me and let me hear you who you're with. Like it would always get to that toxic point where I needed now proof, and sometimes I will use the excuse, oh, well, you lied about this, or, oh, even if it was a misunderstanding on both ends, or, maybe they just forgot to tell me something. I would take it as just, nope, I can't trust you at all. That was my toxic mindset at the moment. And, the next step, like I said, would be now you have to give me physical proof, that I can trust you, that you're telling me the truth about that. And like I said, it was only temporarily because literally in a couple minutes, something would happen. They would say, oh, this happened earlier in school, or, this happened when I was outside and a guy, walked up, to me. And you would think that the evidence that was provided would be used for all those circumstances, but no. And I used to feel so miserable. You get, throughout that time. I was never satisfied. I was never happy. And in those circumstances, if anything, it would make me feel even further away from them. It would make me feel like I couldn't trust them. And even with the proof that they would show me, it would kind of like, it would pacify that need to know that they're not lying to me, that they're not being unfaithful or disloyal to me. But it would never pacify that burning feeling that, I couldn't connect to somebody, and a big reason was because before all the love bombing, before all the affection and the time and the attention that I would give them, I wouldn't select in the way that I should have, not in the way that I am now. Where, do we have chemistry? Is there a mutual attraction? Is there, do we have a healthy friendship that could lead into a relationship? No, none of, there was none of that. It was just, she's attractive, or she's giving me the attention, or just sometimes the most dangerous mindset that I had was, I need to be in a relationship with somebody. And being alone, it feels like an agony, and that's how it would lead. And a lot of these relationships would intertwine because yours truly wanted the females to be faithful to him, but I couldn't provide the same faithfulness in return. And that went on for so many years of my younger years. And I used to justify it in my mind that I was like, well, they're causing me to be unfaithful. Well, they're not giving me this type of love. So then I need to look for that in somebody else. And, the minute that I would connect to another female, even if I was already in a relationship, a so-called committed relationship, I would just break all those boundaries and I would go with the next person. Some relationships, I literally would be dating, multiple girls at once. And it would make me feel powerful. It would make me feel that I had some control. Years later, I reflected on a lot of those behaviors and mindsets, and I came to the conclusion that the reason why I felt that I finally had control, because I didn't have control over my emotions. I didn't have control over any aspect of my life. At least that's how I thought about it, especially because, in those years I was dealing, using drugs. I was around people that were bad influences. I was not dealing with my mental health. I had a lot of medical issues at home, wasn't doing good in school. I wasn't oriented in, mentally in what's next in my future. So all that toxicity inside of me, would drive me. And in my mind, I'm like, I have all this going on. I didn't have the perfect life like a lot of other, teenagers do. Then I'm entitled to at least have something. And there was that dangerous mindset that would blind me to not remember that a lot of these females were human. Well, all these women were humans. They have feelings. A lot of these women actually genuinely cared about me. And I took that care, that love, that affection that they gave me, that trust that they gave me, and I just destroyed it. I walked over them. I put them down, because that's what somebody with a manipulative mindset does. You tear them apart. You tear away their confidence. You tear away at their just everything. You take that away from them, and you have them at your beck and call. And that's how I would be. Obviously, none of these relationships, not just because of the age, but the way these relationships were, none of them would last, and all of them were, ended up exploding. Some of them where the women ended up cheating on me. And instead of taking any type of responsibility at that age or that mindset, I went on the defense. Oh, how dare they? How dare they do this? And I would always look or talk about the good things that I would do for them, but completely neglect all the horrible shit that I did do. And it took years and years of the last few years of my life, in the later part of my life, where I had to be okay with being alone. I had to be okay with looking into my past and facing a lot of those demons, a lot of those traumas, facing that anxiety, that insecurity as a man, that, the toxic masculinity in our society says that, having multiple women, having that high status in the eyes of other men, that means that you're a high quality type of man. But that's bullshit. Because one, I've stated this before, a alpha male, quote unquote, does not need the validation of other men. That's for one. Two, they don't need validations from anybody in order to feel like they're men. And you don't need to be putting other people down. You don't need to be hurting or using other people in order to feel like you're a man. Unfortunately, I still hear a lot of those mindsets, a lot of those conversations, a lot of those talks still going on in our society. And for all my men that are listening out there, you have to be careful. You have to filter out all those conversations, whatever insecurities that is happening in your mind, inside of you. You have to deal with that, because putting yourself in a situation where you're going to be dependent on somebody else, that's not their obligation. Everyone has their own journey in life. Everybody has their own shit that they're dealing with. And you depending on somebody else, guess what? Eventually they're going to leave. Then what are you going to do? You're going to just wait till the next person comes? No, it's about being independent. And a toxic relationship, like I said, it could be verbal, it could be physical, it could be psychological. It could be all kinds of toxicness, and you have to be careful. Sometimes it's easy to say you have to be, vigilant for the red flags, but sometimes something is going on in our lives that blinds us from those red flags. And if you find yourself in that type of situation afterwards, and you're looking back and you're reflecting, how could I have missed those red flags? Be more gentle with yourself, because we all make mistakes. A lot of people will sit on their little high pedestal and claim that, the minute that they see these red flags, they just dip on a relationship. That's not always the same situation. And, you got to be careful. For someone who's entering a relationship with someone who doesn't have the same idea of a healthy relationship that you do, you have to be careful, because that type of mindset will drag you down, that type of toxicity. And if you're the person that's toxic, You need to address whatever issues you're feeling, whatever issues you're dealing with, and it's never too late. But you have to take some sort of accountability and responsibility. You know, it's not about demonizing and villainizing yourself and all, because that's a distraction. Finding who you're gonna blame, that's a distraction, because that's not going to heal the person that you hurt's wounds, and that's not gonna heal your own wounds either. By just making yourself to be the bad guy, we can be good people and make horrible decisions, but we all have that chance, that opportunity, and that choice to make if we want to become a better person. So for this part of the video, I want to, if any of my exes ever listen to this video, I want to speak to you from the bottom of my heart. I want to apologize for my actions, for my betrayal, breaking your trust. And wherever you guys are, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys found peace and healing. And know that it wasn't your fault for the things that I did, for the cheating, the lying, the manipulation, the controlling, the abuse. There's no justification for any of that. I was a hurt person, and I hurt people that cared about me. And for that, I am sorry. And I wish you guys nothing but the best. I hope you guys find love, true love, genuine love that you guys deserve, and somebody who can give you that love and treat you the way you do deserve. And I hope you guys never blame yourselves for anything that I did or the stuff that I will blame you guys for. I hope you guys can find some sort of peace. I'm working on myself, and I truly appreciate the care, the love, the affection, the time, the forgiveness, everything you guys gave me. And you know who you are, all of you, who held and hold a special place in my heart. And it's because of you guys that I took the initiation to start looking within me and wanting to make changes later on. And it hasn't been easy. I'm still a work in progress at the moment. I still have my insecurities. I still wrestle with those same demons. But unlike where I was a decade ago in my life, I'm not the same type of person. I don't justify or condone cheating or lying, manipulation, abuse, any of that, because I know it's wrong. And that's not what I want in my life. That's not what I want in my relationships. That's not what I want to put as an example, as someone who wants to help other people. I want to help people heal. I don't want to repeat the same cycle that I was introduced to when I came into this world. And it's not about judging or blaming other people, because I take full responsibility for what I did. And what other people did to me, that's their responsibility. But that doesn't give any justification for me to be an asshole and to go and do that. And I hope all of you guys who are hearing, men or women, keep that in mind. Just because you're hurting, that's no justification for hurting other people, especially those who don't deserve it. And if you are hurting, you need to find healing, not within a relationship, but healing on your own. Be love yourself, and you will attract that love. Have a healthy mindset of what a relationship and love and a healthy partner will be, and I promise you, you will attract it. You guys deserve it. You deserve love. You got to remind yourself. Sometimes we make ourselves, either, oh, we're physically not like this, or we don't look like this, or we're fat, we're skinny, we're short, we're tall, we're this, we're that. We did this in our past, we did that in our past. But I can tell you, as somebody who has turned his life around, you deserve happiness. You deserve love. You deserve peace. You deserve respect. You deserve faithfulness and loyalty. And you deserve a caring partner. Because I just want to, before I close off, I just want to really emphasize that. When you're in a relationship with somebody, they're supposed to be your partner, your equal, not your slave, not your servant. That's not a healthy relationship. And you do have to be careful. Like I said, whether you're the person that has that mindset or you're the person that's entering a relationship with somebody who has that mindset. Don't, just be careful, guys. Love yourselves. And hopefully this helps anyone in any type of way. This has helped me to be able to reflect on my past and put a positive spin to it on one of the darkest phases of my life. And I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you guys find it helpful. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to you guys. Say thank you for all the people who have heard it. Thank you for everything you guys did for me and brought to my life. And I'm sorry for my actions, but you guys helped me become a better person. And I'm becoming a better version of myself. So with that all said, a heavy topic today, but like I said earlier at the start, I feel it's a conversation that our society needs to start having. And instead of shaming or feeling shame, we need to speak up and we need to advocate that domestic violence, abusive relationships, toxicity, mindsets in women and men or whatever, whoever you are, we need to decrease this and we need to make these changes. And we can only start it by starting it with you. So hopefully you guys enjoy all this content. This is episode 2 of Storytime with Richie. I'm Richie from the See It Through My Eyes here on YouTube, See It Through My Eyes podcast, and on TikTok, See It Through My Eyes. Please like, share, and subscribe and help us grow. Thank you. Blessings. Take care.